The Valatie Library presents character wall masks. First, I'm going to make some papier-mâché paste by combining 1 cup of flour with 1 cup of warm water and stirring all the chunks out. I want my paste to have the consistency of pancake batter. Now I will grab some strips of newspaper and a balloon. The next step is to cover my balloon with papier-mâché. I am taking 1 strip of newspaper and dipping it into my flour and water mixture, using my fingers to pull off the extra paste. Then I place it onto my balloon. I repeat the process to cover the entire balloon. It is important to place the strips of newspaper in different directions. This will help create a very sturdy structure for my sculpture. Now it's time to let my balloon dry. I'm going to leave it for at least 24 hours, possibly more. I want it to be completely dry all the way through, so I have to be really patient. It has been 2 days and the papier-mâché is completely dry, so I'm going to pop the balloon. I will also cut the base in half. This means I can create another sculpture later. I remove the balloon and pick 1/2 to work with. Now I trim down any extra pieces that are hanging off. Before I start building up the features of my mask, I want to add a piece of wire to the back so I can hang it on my wall. I'm making 2 marks on the sides of my sculpture, each one about 1 inch from the edge. Then I use a needle or something else sharp to poke a hole through these marks. I push my wire through the back and twist the ends into little loops. I flatten these little loops down onto my sculpture base. Now I do a basic sketch to show where I'd like to sculpt the features of my mask. I set up a fresh batch of papier-mâché paste, some more newspaper, and a little bit of toilet paper as well. I am starting with the eyes, so I grab a piece of newspaper, cover it in paste, and mold it into a little oval shape. I stick it onto my base and use a flat piece of newspaper covered in paste to secure it. I repeat this a couple of times to really bulk up and secure the eyeball in place. To create eyelids, I take some paste-covered strips of newspaper and twist them into little noodle shapes. I place them above and below the eyeball, using my fingers to mold them into the shape I want. I smooth down the ends of the eyelids and push the paste around the entire eye so the entire feature really sticks to the base of my sculpture. Now I repeat the process for the other eye. To create the nose, I use a little bit of toilet paper instead of newspaper because it's even easier to mold into the shape I like. Just like I did with the eyeballs, I use flat strips of newspaper to secure the shape to the base. I place the strips in different directions to make the nose extra secure. Now I want to add nostrils. I take a strip of newspaper covered in paste and twist it into a long, thin piece. I make it into a little bow shape and stick it onto the bottom of my nose. I bulk up the tip of the nose a bit more and then add more flat strips of newspaper to secure everything down and give the nose even more shape. As I'm working, I always make sure to push the paste around a lot so the sculpture feels like one connected piece rather than separate features sitting on top of the base. I create the mouth with the same basic process as the eyelids. I want my character to have a little bit of attitude, so I'm making a tongue that will stick out. I fold up a piece of paste-covered newspaper into the tongue shape, then wrap it in a second piece that will have a loose flap to attach it to the upper lip. I bulk up the bottom lip a bit more so the tongue has something to rest on. Again, I use more flat strips of newspaper to secure this shape onto my base. I use some more flat pieces to cover up and secure the wire loops on the sides of my sculpture. I like to bulk up the cheeks to give my face even more personality, so again, I use some bunched up toilet paper covered in paste and secure it down with flat pieces of newspaper. I do the same thing for the chin. I create eyebrows with the same process I used for the individual lips. I want my character to be from another world, so I'm adding a third eye on the forehead using the same process as the other eyes. I do the hair the same way I did the cheeks by bulking it up with toilet paper and securing it down with flat strips of newspaper. To create some added texture for the hair, I twist strips of paste-covered newspaper into long, thin pieces and secure them down with extra paste and little flat pieces of newspaper on the ends. I repeat the process for the hair on the other side. Now it's time to let my sculpture dry again. To make sure it holds its shape as it dries, I place it onto an upside-down bowl and leave it for a couple days. I can speed up the process a bit with a hairdryer, but I still need to wait for the many layers of paste to dry throughout the entire sculpture. 2 days later, I can tell my sculpture is dry all the way through. There's no moisture on the front or back, and it feels super hard to the touch. I start by doing a quick layer of paint on the back of my sculpture to seal the papier-mâché. This will keep it from falling apart over time. And now I paint the face. Since my character is not exactly human, I'm using bright and unusual colors. I also like to add highlights using white paint. I think this creates a little more dimension to my sculpture. I really like to have fun with color, and since I know this mask will live on my wall, I'm using ones that make me happy. Just like with the highlights, I add some shadow to create dimension. I use a darker version of my skin tone inside the nostrils, under the eyes, and under the mouth. Even though this is not meant to be a realistic character, these details help it feel somewhat lifelike. Now I let it dry. When it feels dry on both sides, I can hang it on my wall. Thank you for following along as I created this wall mask. I hope you have so much fun making your own character. Even though I used human features, you can apply all these techniques to any kind of creature. Take your time with this project and let your creativity go wild. Happy crafting!